You lost, ma'am. This isn't a tour group. The Marine's voice cut through the chatter like a blade. He smirked as he squared up to the woman in the royal blue blouse, standing just inside the base cafeteria. Her heels clicked once more on the tile floor as she stopped in place, shoulders back, unfazed. Around them, soldiers looked up from their trays, the room thick with the unspoken tension of a woman daring to walk alone into a place she clearly didn't belong. Security's down the hall, he added with a chuckle, eyes scanning her from head to toe. Or, does your husband know you're here? Laughter erupted behind him. His buddies leaned in like a pack, waiting for the punchline. The woman didn't respond. Not with words, just a slow blink, a steady breath. She kept her eyes on him like she was measuring something far bigger than his rank. The Marine took a step closer, the authority in his voice rising. I asked you a question. What's your name and business on this base? That's when a sharp gasp cut the air like a gunshot. All heads turned as a female officer, decorated, seasoned, stood frozen across the room, eyes wide in disbelief. Captain Reynolds? She breathed. A beat of silence passed. Then the woman in blue gave a single, calm nod. That's right, she said clearly. Captain Alexandra Reynolds, United States Marine Corps. I'm here for an unannounced inspection. The laughter died instantly. The smirk vanished, and the color drained from the corporal's face so fast he looked like he might faint. Around him, chairs scraped, trays dropped, and uniforms snapped to attention as soldiers scrambled to their feet. Captain Reynolds walked forward without flinching, eyes scanning every stunned face as she spoke. I was assigned to assess leadership performance, conduct, and internal discipline. Judging by the greeting I received, I already have enough for a full report. The female officer rushed forward to escort her, red-faced but trying to maintain composure. Captain Reynolds paused as she passed the corporal who had mocked her. You assumed I didn't belong, she said coldly, because I wasn't in uniform, because I'm a woman, because I didn't announce myself. That tells me everything I need to know about the culture here. She walked to the front of the room and took the podium. The men who'd laughed now stood rigid, faces stone. But instead of scolding them further, she did something far more powerful. She told them the truth. I joined the Corps 15 years ago, first in my class, deployed 3 times. I've carried wounded brothers out of firefights, navigated blackouts under enemy fire, and made field calls that saved lives. But the hardest part of my career wasn't the bullets. It was the stares, the assumptions, the constant fight to prove I had a right to be in the room. She let the silence sit heavy. You could hear a pin drop. Respect shouldn't depend on visibility. It shouldn't rely on brass or bars or whether someone fits your expectations. The battlefield doesn't care what gender you are. Neither should you. She stepped away from the podium and walked straight back to the corporal who'd started it all. He stood frozen, eyes locked forward, the weight of humiliation pressing into his spine. Corporal, she said, what's your name? Daniels, ma'am, Corporal Daniels. You ever seen combat, Corporal Daniels? No, ma'am. I have. And when the bullets are flying, no one cares what shade your lipstick is. They care if you can get them home alive. She stared into his eyes. I'm not here to end your career. I'm here to save it. Because if this kind of assumption follows you into the field, people could die. Corporal Daniels swallowed, his voice barely a whisper. Yes, ma'am. She turned back to the group. Tomorrow, Aero 600, double drills, uniform inspections, code of conduct reviews. This unit is going to rebuild its integrity from the inside out. Because respect isn't given by rank, it's earned by how you treat people when you think no one's watching. No one moved. No one dared breathe wrong. And then something happened no one expected. Corporal Daniels, who had mocked her, laughed at her, dismissed her, snapped to attention and shouted, Captain on deck! And like a wave crashing over stone, the entire room stood. Dozens of soldiers, boots slamming the floor, backs like steel rods, eyes forward. Not out of fear, but out of realization, out of earned respect. Captain Reynolds paused in the doorway. She turned back one last time, her voice firm but warm. Leadership isn't about yelling loudest. It's about standing tallest when it matters most. And with that, she walked out. No uniform, no medals visible, just presence, power, proof. Not a wife, not a visitor, not someone who needed permission to be there. A leader, a warrior, a Marine. Before this moment slips away, tell us in the comments where you're watching from. We want to feel connected to you, to know the hearts and homes behind these screens. If this story stirred something inside you, don't just leave silently. Tap that like button, share your voice in the comments, and subscribe so you're here for the next story. You never know. The next one might touch you even deeper.